Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
Hello everyone. So we missed an episode for which game did we miss?
The last one.
The last one we missed, but we are back here with the tactical analysis for the Liverpool loss. I know it's a bit late, but better late than ever, right? So hi Aravind, welcome back.
Hello Vijay, how are you?
I'm good. So this is for this game, right? Like it was a little bit of surprising for me how we kind of played the game, even though we were trying to create opportunities and everything. But let me show this then. From a what do you call it? From a tactical perspective, we did not do a lot of things wrong.
I agree.
Right? Like, in fact, we did better than what we did in the game in the other fixture, as in like when we went to Anfield.
Yes.
We saw that we had like they had two big chances, we had one. They had 11 shots on goal, 11 shots, we had 7. They had 3 shots on target, we had 2 shots on target. Like it's practically almost very close. Like even passes were so close. Like they had 500 odd passes, we had 450 plus passes. So we did not get outplayed in this game.
True. And another key difference was last game after Shaka's red card. If you notice our pass percentage, it was I think in the 20s or 30s. And this game, you see a lot more fluidity, a lot more composure. And we played the 11-man team played cohesively as a unit. We had clear plans in mind on how we wanted to attack. Initially, we were overloading the left so much that Matip had to be hooked off at halftime because of how slow he was.
Yeah.
He couldn't deal with Martinelli's pace. The first goal that we conceded was completely against the run of play. But in my opinion, we should have had a goal or two before that. At least a big chance created before that. It almost looked like in the final third, we did not have a clue as to what we wanted to do. Odegaard repeatedly, he would carry the ball from midfield, but in the final third, he lost his composure. It was a stark difference from his previous games where he played number 10 and he was able to play that initial pass a few seconds sooner. And it almost went to show that if he has the ball for a little bit too long, he runs out of ideas. That was, in my opinion, what let the team down in the first half.
So regarding the starting lineup, right? I know this graphic put us as like 4-1-4-1. Did we play 4-1-4-1? Because I thought like the plan was Martin Odegaard to support Sambi deeper.
Yes.
But he was not doing it. That is another thing. He was doing it well in the second half, but not in the first half. That's another thing. But still, like, what is the plan that we started with?
So if you look at the way that we were set up the attack, it was almost like this 4-1-4-1 with Sambi playing a lone pivot, waiting for counters. But when we were defending, Odegaard would slot back, and so would Emil Smith Rowe. It almost became like a 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 with Lacazette being the lone frontman. I think those two kind of worked pretty well because it gave us a little bit of compact shape when we were defending, especially against the transition. One key factor, however, was the fact that Tomiyasu had an off game, and when he was marking probably the most important player in the Liverpool jersey, Diego Jota, and we saw Diego Jota's performance that day and how Tomiyasu performed that day. Clearly a case of, I guess, rustiness after injury, lack of fitness, but he picked a very bad game to have an off day. The plan would have been perfect had it not been for Tomiyasu having an off day.
But still, right, there is one thing as the plan and what happened on the pitch. We are here to discuss what happened on the pitch.
True.
So do you want to share what your tactics were, like what your explanations were about what we did on the pitch?
Sure. Yeah. So
see, we have gotten fancy for this. You gotta like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see, this was our starting formation, and predominantly Odegaard would go in here, he would slot here, and when we were defending, it would almost sort of be like a 4-5-1 with Lacazette dropping deep as well. And what Liverpool was doing was they overloaded the wings so much on both sides, and at a point it was just VVD and Matip holding their centre backs. And whenever we got a chance to counter, Martinelli was in a lot of cases one-on-one with Matip. So what they did, they put Henderson and Fabinho, one of the two would go on to help them. So naturally, we had an extra man in the midfield because of that. That helped us give a little more room in the attack. What we did not anticipate was whenever Tierney and Martinelli were in front, Lokonga became kind of the lone wolf here because Gabriel had to go cover on this side, which created a gap. So this gap, when they started to exploit, when they figured that they were not able to do anything on the right side, but this was the first initial part of the game, and Tomiyasu was still having a half-decent game. But after that, the first slip, they clearly saw that Tomiyasu was lacking match fitness. He was lacking confidence. Something was there in this part of the pitch. Everybody were just slipping, and it was a giant game of slip and slide on that part of the pitch that day, and it did not help that Tomiyasu's recovery pace was suffering a little bit.
Yeah.
This initially was what was happening, and after the first goal with Jota, then the whole plan went to the shitter. Arsenal seemed to be a very momentum-based team. Seldom. I don't think under Arteta we've ever had a situation where we've come back from behind to win a game. I may be wrong, but I think that's a true stat. And you saw that in this game as well. Up until the first game, we were the aggressor. The first game was against the run of play, and after the first goal, we just fell flat. It was like we knew that we were going to lose, and we were just trying to delay the inevitable. We tried so many things. Lacazette had a beautiful chance. That was an absolutely wonderful ball by Lokonga to find Lacazette over the top.
Mm-hmm.
He should have done so much better. Lacazette is starting to play more and more like a CDM than a number 9. It's starting to piss me off.
That's one of the reasons why we need a striker for sure. If things
then there is the opposite argument to that as well. When you get an out and out number 9, how effective is that number 9 going to be when he has to come back and defend? I mean, there's two sides to the argument, but at this point, what is lacking is
the answer. The answer is Henry. We need an Henry. He would. It doesn't matter if he could come and defend or whatever. He would score as much. He would threaten the defense as much. We wouldn't have to worry about it.
So this is where it gets interesting too. Like the last game, the first leg of this EFL semifinal, we clearly saw that we could defend. We can defend as a unit. We knew what our plan was. We can keep doing that every day and twice on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What we cannot do is score. And that is especially against the big 6 sides. That is again time and again getting found out. We need to start having that steel presence in the middle that can not just track back to defend, but also score and finish when chances come. If you look at the stat that you shared, we had 7 shots on goal and 2 on target.
Yeah. And 3 on target, actually. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. When you have that, when you create that few of chances, you need to convert, and your conversion rate has to be very efficient. That's what Liverpool did for the first goal. Up until then, they didn't have much, and as soon as they got a chance, they got a sniff. They finished it. That
interesting that you mentioned the first goal, right? That's what I was trying to put up here, because I thought like we would explain what was happening. The first thing for me.
Do you want to take over?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I think you can see my screen now. I
Yes.
guess yes.
Yeah.
So in this, right, like this is a similar situation to what happened in the last game, as in when Xhaka got his red. It's a similar situation that happened, and that is the part that I'm actually worried a little bit about Arsenal defense, right? You could see that one of the defenders is committed way up. In this case, it's Gabriel Magalhaes, right? Like he has committed himself way up the pitch when the ball breaks, right? It's the same thing that happened last game when the ball broke to Jota, and the last man to defend that was Xhaka, and
Right.
that was unlucky that it turned out to be Xhaka, but still, it's the pattern that's happening, right? Like
So
one of our different. Yeah.
let me stop you for a second. What happened that day with Gabriel going up and Tierney going up, leaving Shaka alone, was what was corrected here. If you notice, when Gabriel goes up, Tierney automatically falls back. You don't see both of them going together in unison. When they go together in unison, there is a huge gap on that side of the field that anybody can exploit. This, in my opinion, when Gabriel goes up, which again I don't know why he does, because he clearly does not have the ball handling skills or the passing range to drive forward and spread the ball. I guess he's trying to improve that part of his game, but that him going up really shows this tactical change that Mikel Arteta has focused on in KT falling back. As soon as KT sees Gabriel going up, he would come back and slot in as the left centre back.
So that's where things got interesting, right? Like right now in this screenshot that you're seeing, it's advantage Arsenal. Like we have more players on this part of pitch than them. And in the next shot, it's like all of our players are making a run back to the box. Like you could clearly see Ben White moving, and you could clearly see Tierney moving, and you could see that Gabriel and Saka, and on the far corner you could see Martinelli, all making runs back to the box to defend the box, right? This is all good. This is all really good. But this is where things got interesting, right? Tomiyasu slips. And this moment, you could see clearly on the pitch that White is trying to mark this player, and Gabriel is making the run into the box. But you could see White has slowed down. Tierney has slowed down. So people were thinking that, okay, we have the advantage. Let's, slow down. Let's take this game outside of the box. But the unfortunate thing of Tomiyasu slip up happens. But this for me is a little bit of problem, because not just because, I mean, there's one side where I'm thinking like, yeah, we should be trusting our players to do their defensive duties. The other side of it is, right, like, let's flood the box, let's shut this down, because it's Jota. And he's one of the potent threats in the Liverpool side. It's the same with Salah and Mane. I would put him almost on the same level as them. So I would have preferred if my team formed a wall in front of the goal at this point, instead of trying to see how things play out. I think half of what I'm trying to make is half of the team is still thinking about, let's break this transition and make it for our own benefit.
So another thing that goal shows to me is Tomiyasu's lack of confidence. Like typically, if you go 2 screenshots before, he would immediately at this point try to. He knows where Jota is, and he knows that that's going to be the outlet, and he would try to cut that passing lane. That's what he would have done previously. That's what he excels at. I think he leads our team in number of interceptions, and he's played 3 lesser games in the Premier League. So you could see almost immediately when he's starting to track back, he doesn't have that confidence that would otherwise he would have had when he's in full swing. Again, that kind of showed out that game. He was clearly not ready. But that's not an excuse. He has to do better. That slip was unfortunate. Overall, the goal was just a massive fortunate goal for Liverpool, and totally against the run of play for us.
Yeah. But the other part that I'm worried about a little bit here is KT not marking anyone. He's making the run, but he is slowed down. He's not making the the run into the box like he was doing in the previous frame, but he has slowed down, but he's not marking anyone. You could see that Ben White is keeping an eye on the player, and you can see that Gabriel is trying to keep an eye on and make the run, and you can see marginally he's marking his player, but the other significant part is KT is not marking anyone, and our midfield is not there in the picture at all.
He really doesn't have to at this point. What KT to me is, he's more of a danger sniffer than anything else. If there is a save to be made, KT is going to be the first one to be aware about that save, to pounce on the ball, to clear the ball. He, at this point, it's almost a 6-on-3 for Arsenal if you count Saka and Martinelli as well. 6-on-4 rather, and from we have man advantage for sure. There's no use trying to double team anybody at this point, because clearly Firmino is not in a position to receive a pass. Neither is that teenager fellow on the other side, Gordon. I don't remember his name. Gordon. Curtis Jones or Gordon. I think Curtis Jones is near the referee here. That's the winger Gordon. They don't really have a reason, or KT doesn't have a reason rather to mark anybody at this point.
Yeah, but the goal was like really unlucky for us, because we had the advantage, and it was a scuffed shot. It just went in by luck. But we march on for the next game, I guess. So that's our take on the tactics that we saw against Liverpool. And if you guys have anything to add, just to comment on and as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, I guess. Aravind, thanks so much for joining in.
Of course, no problem.
And hopefully this is going to be like, we have done a lot of games where we have either drawn or lost. So I wish we could do a victory one for the future. And this Burnley one turns out to be that way, is what I'm hoping.
3-0 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal. There you go, folks. Thank you so much. Thanks, Aravind, for joining in today.
Talk to you later.
Bye.